and now it's all about yield farming and DeFi, which stands for decentralized finance. So I guess I wouldn't necessarily describe myself as an investor, but I guess what I do is pretty much investing day to day. Checking the cryptos, checking where I should allocate my crypto to back which projects. And I think one of the problems that I came across as you identified was, when I look at these new projects, they seem to promise the world, but in a nutshell, I want to read the economics of what they've created, what the token supply is. And I want to read a little bit of blurb about the project, what they hope to bring to the table. So, for example, a project like Chainlink, they have some very smart developers working on their platform, but it essentially is a price oracle for the Ethereum space. So, what that means in a nutshell is it feeds in data from the internet into the blockchains, and it's these kinds of infrastructure investments in the cryptocurrency space, which I personally am looking for and want to allocate more funds to supporting these projects, because I think they'll be a big part of the cryptocurrency ecosystem moving forward. And without that knowledge of being able to log onto a website to just check the details of, say, for example, the Chainlink project, to see which developers are working on it, to be able to have links to check out their social medias, to see their white paper. Without all this information, you're not really making as much of an informed decision as an investor. And certainly, we've all lived through some pretty terrible investments in the cryptocurrency space because they are absolutely everywhere.
Big winners and big losers.
Absolutely, and the best advice that we could ever give anyone who's new to crypto is, always do your homework. I know all of our team is always saying that to all of their friends as well. Do your own homework. Don't just trust anything on face value. Try to understand as much as you can about the technology, because then when you invest, even if it goes up or even if it goes down, at least you've made that decision by yourself off the best of your knowledge. You've taken the risks. Hopefully some work out for you, but the others that don't, at least you've not just bought on a whim. And to be able to have that information on your fingertips is very, very powerful. Fast forward to today, we talk a lot about decentralized finance, or DeFi. And what the activity which people are doing a lot now is something called yield farming, which is to be able to send their Ethereum or Bitcoin to essentially a website or a web app to be able to stake their coins, which is essentially the mechanism of depositing their cryptocurrency for somebody else to borrow. And the platform matches a lender to a borrower. So the borrower would pay a higher interest rate, say for example 5%, to borrow this other person's Ethereum for a couple of days. The lender would benefit from a 4% interest rate, which they otherwise wouldn't have received if they didn't deposit their coins in the first place. So these kinds of market mechanics, for me, these economics are very, very fascinating, because once you create an economic mechanism like that, there's a flurry of activity from buyers, from sellers, from lenders, from borrowers, and that for me is seeing that economic progress. To me, is very exciting, because I know that the market surrounding that economy is just going to grow if you create these opportunities. So yield farming is something that our team loves to do. We love to find out from which different websites are the best yielding opportunities, and some days you could get a 50 to 100% APY yielding opportunity that you might want to deposit your funds into, but then that opportunity might disappear within a couple of weeks because it's a very real-time market, and you might want to reallocate your funds to perhaps a safer, more stable 5% APY opportunity on perhaps a more reputable platform. So it's a balance of risk and reward versus the knowledge that you can acquire for yourself and what you can find, and having that knowledge certainly helps make better informed decisions as to where to allocate your funds or which platforms to trust more than others.
Yeah, I think that's really well put. And like you said, I'm excited to work on DeFi Dive, because information and education are really important in the world of investing and cryptocurrency, even more so.